What's it like to be so lucky that the gods themselves have to intervene to balance it out? Sakura, the protagonist, is endowed with great looks, academic success, a privileged background, and popularity, truly a paragon of youth in the anime world. But beyond these traits, Sakura is also exceptionally lucky, often sparking envy among those around her. However, she remains unconcerned. For the 16 years she has been alive, her life has been smooth sailing, free from illness and always joyful. Sakura is proud, dismissing the misfortunes of others simply as part of life. Coming out of the bathroom, Sakura unexpectedly encounters a poverty god hanging around. The poverty god's arrival is due to Sakura's overwhelming good fortune, which has disrupted the balance of luck in the human world. This god intends to reset Sakura's luck to that of an ordinary person. Sakura thinks she's just met a weirdo, but the weirdo quickly disappears. Returning to the bathroom, she finds the poverty god emerging from the bathtub. Although Sakura confronts the physical form of the poverty god, she cannot touch its spirit. The god, calling itself Momiji, checks Sakura's fortune and finds it absurdly high, likely due to her absorbing others' luck. Sakura snatches Momiji's glasses, discovering they can indeed see others' luck. Momiji explains that people are born with an energy that can bring happiness, known as legendary luck, while unfortunate energy is simply bad luck. Usually, luck among humans is balanced, but Sakura's presence has disrupted this equilibrium. Whether it's a mistake by the gods or not, Sakura's immense fortune is not only vast in itself, but also unknowingly siphoning the happiness of others. Momiji tricks Sakura by saying that if her luck became normal, her life would turn miserable, though this is just a lie. However, Momiji warns that if Sakura continues to draw on others' fortune, those around her will fall into extreme misfortune. Momiji is here to return the happiness energy Sakura has unwittingly taken from others. Sakura questions why she should bear the consequences of others' misfortune, and mocks Momiji's poverty. Hurt by the mockery, Momiji pulls out a large syringe, vowing to drain Sakura's luck. Sakura's good fortune, however, lets her dodge Momiji's attack, and instead, Momiji and her assistant end up seriously injured. Sakura shakes her butler awake after he was knocked out. She asks him to throw Momiji out. The assistant tells Momiji that Sakura's luck has overwhelmed the poverty god. Momiji even suspects that Sakura might be a reincarnated goddess of fortune. However, the butler thinks Momiji is Sakura's friend. He mentions that he has served the young lady since childhood and hasn't seen her laugh like this in a long time. He also says that Sakura is actually a very lonely child. Then he asks Momiji where he should take her. After sending Momiji away, the butler returns home and suddenly feels a pain in his heart. He thinks it's an illusion and plans Sakura's birthday for tomorrow. The next day, Sakura receives gifts from her fan club at school. At this time, she sighs, finding being too popular can also be troublesome. Meanwhile, Momiji has set traps in the mansion. She then finds the butler collapsed due to heart discomfort. Momiji quickly asks her assistant to inform Sakura. Sakura rushes to the hospital upon receiving the news. She learns that the butler has had an acute myocardial infarction and needs immediate surgery. Sakura is very worried since the butler is her only family. While the butler is being treated at the hospital, Sakura returns home and sees the meticulously prepared cake in the fridge. She recalls that her parents never celebrated her birthday with her since she was a child. The people who stayed by her side were always the butler. She now sees no difference between him and her own family. Sakura doesn't want the butler to die. At this moment, Momiji appears before Sakura. Sakura suspects that this is all Momiji's doing. Momiji shakes her head, saying it's because of Sakura. The butler has been with Sakura for too long. The happiness energy has been unconsciously drained by Sakura, leaving only the unfortunate energy. Momiji tells Sakura that happiness must be shared. If no one shares happiness, then this kind of luck is meaningless. Sakura says Momiji makes her sound too unfortunate. Momiji seizes this opportunity to drain Sakura's happiness energy. This time, Sakura does not resist. Momiji says that the energy being suddenly drained might cause Sakura's unfortunate energy to burst temporarily. She will return to the life of an ordinary person, but it will get better after some time. However, Sakura counters with a move that snatches the drained happiness energy back. Now truly annoyed, Momiji vows to make Sakura suffer today. Sakura didn't snatch the happiness energy for herself, but to save the butler. She was initially unsure if the energy could be used, but seeing Momiji desperately trying to take it, Sakura knew it must be useful. So she smashed the jar right there in the hospital. The happiness energy erupted, instantly causing the surrounding cherry trees to bloom and all the nearby patients to recover. Even the critically ill butler was saved by the doctors. After the butler fully recovered, Sakura found a reason to let him go, hoping he could enjoy the rest of his life in the countryside with better air, rather than spending his remaining years caring for her. Sakura was very sad about the butler's departure. Upon returning home, she found Momiji had come looking for her. It turned out that after the jar was smashed, all the happiness energy returned to Sakura with only a small amount dispersing. Yet, it was still a powerful force. Back at school, Sakura discovered that Momiji had transferred there. Originally, Momiji had planned to secretly manipulate Sakura's energy, but ended up being counterattacked by Sakura. Momiji then approached her boss, hinting she wanted to eliminate Sakura. Before her boss could refuse, Momiji hung up using the poor signal as an excuse. She was determined to kill Sakura. Besides their passive-aggressive interactions in class, during physical education, Momiji tried to hit Sakura with a baseball and tied a bomb to the burner in chemistry class. She placed a 1-ton chalkboard eraser at the classroom door. While they were fighting, their male classmate next to them kept sleeping. Sakura was nearly ruined by Momiji at school. On her way home, Sakura pondered how to deal with Momiji, but was suddenly grabbed by a European monk asking for shelter. Seeing him cling to her leg, Sakura thought, "What kind of lecherous monk is this?" and walked away. As soon as Sakura got home, she found that the poverty god had thrown her clothes out of the wardrobe and had brazenly moved into it, wildly joking around and almost causing a copyright issue with an anime. Sakura, unable to deal with Momiji, turned around to find the monk had followed her and was fiddling with her clothes. Unable to tolerate it, Sakura beat up the monk. The monk quickly explained that Sakura was possessed by a supernatural being and he could help remove it. Sakura then invited the monk for pizza. He explained he was on a mission to exorcise demons around Japan and felt the presence of evil spirits nearby. He suspected Sakura was possessed, which is why he followed her home. Sakura criticized him, asking why he couldn't just speak nicely instead of acting like a thug. The monk said his mother taught him to pretend to be a clueless foreigner abroad, as locals tend to be more friendly that way. He admitted sensing the poverty god's presence, but insisted that Sakura was the best solution to deal with it, as he could faintly see the happiness energy around her. The monk also admitted to occasionally behaving inappropriately, which resulted in Sakura beating him up. Sakura concluded that she still had to handle Momiji herself, questioning the monk's usefulness. The monk, with a bruised face, offered some exorcism tools and presented Sakura with a gymnastics outfit, claiming it was an exorcism suit that would make her invincible. Sakura changed into the outfit and confronted the poverty god. Momiji, shocked at first, couldn't help but laugh. Sakura was embarrassed, and Momiji even took a photo of her, smirking and saying that the boys in class would have interesting thoughts if they saw it. Sakura grew even angrier, blaming her recent bad luck on Momiji. In her rage, she materialized her happiness energy, commanding a group of auspicious creatures to attack Momiji relentlessly. Despite finding the creatures cute, Momiji noted their relentless assault mirrored Sakura's nature. Sakura pinned Momiji down and beat her up. In response, Momiji removed the seals on her hands and materialized her misfortune energy, which, like Momiji, was too lazy to retaliate. Sakura then threw Momiji out of the house, laughing wildly in her room. Although she won, it seemed she lost her dignity. Momiji's plan failed again, but she refused to return to the divine realm, feeling undignified not having defeated Sakura today, a first for her. Meanwhile, Sakura's situation was dire as the creatures she had summoned before had not disappeared, and Momiji, feeling entitled, returned. Upon returning home, Sakura found Momiji nonchalantly watching a variety show on the sofa, claiming Sakura should be grateful she stayed. Momiji argued her presence suppressed Sakura's passive energy-draining ability. Momiji also had a tool to draw out Sakura's fortune and redistribute it, but Sakura knocked it away with an exorcism staff. Only the housekeeper mattered to Sakura. She cared little for others' fates. The two started fighting again, with an assistant quietly folding blankets nearby. Sakura accidentally threw Momiji out, realizing too late she might have gone too far. Momiji then disguised as Lupin III and ascended in a hot air balloon, which Sakura promptly sabotaged with a hidden weapon. She then remembered a letter from the housekeeper advising her to treat her friends well. Sakura briefly regretted her actions and then convinced herself that Momiji was not her friend. She believed she had many male friends, and female friends were optional. Hearing other girls talk about their boyfriends, Sakura considered finding one herself, but doubted finding her prince charming. At that moment, a guy who had been asleep from the first to the third episode suddenly woke up. Sakura was impressed by his good looks and realized the truth in the housekeeper's words about mutual support. Sakura decided to show her charm to this classmate, only to discover he could teleport. However, she found his wallet, learned his name was Tsuwabuki, and that he lived near her home. Sakura felt it was destiny, assuming he must be wealthy too, matching her status well. Momiji thought Sakura had lost her mind. When Sakura went to return the wallet to Tsuwabuki's house, she found it dilapidated but didn't mind. Tsuwabuki, returning from grocery shopping, recognized her as a classmate but couldn't recall her name. After returning his wallet, Tsuwabuki, feeling it rude to send her away, invited her for dinner. Sakura happily accepted and was surprised to find Tsuwabuki had 4 younger siblings. While eating, the scene reminded her of a video Momiji had shown her, depicting her as an ordinary person, except the man in the video was unattractive, unlike the handsome Tsuwabuki. This sparked a storm of thoughts in Sakura about dating, but worried about his many siblings turning their life into constant outings. She decided against pursuing romance and casually inquired about his parents. Tsuwabuki explained they had fled due to debts, supposedly in search of some golden treasure, and never returned. To support his siblings, he worked multiple jobs, which was why he slept in class. But seeing his siblings happy made it worthwhile for him. Sakura remembered eating alone at the table and suddenly felt annoyed. She told Tsuwabuki that money could solve all problems, but he believed some things couldn't be bought with money. His sister sensed the tension too. Sakura wasn't good at speaking and had a rather twisted personality, focused on self-interest. It wasn't wrong per se, but it wasn't endearing. Her words angered Tsuwabuki, who criticized her poor character. Recalling Momiji's words, Sakura angrily threw money around, claiming Tsuwabuki couldn't resist money despite his words. Her siblings were surprised by the money she scattered, but Rika, the oldest sister, insisted no one touch it. Tsuwabuki gathered the money and regretted inviting Sakura to dinner. He threw the money at her and told her to leave immediately. Fuming, Sakura left. Momiji said Sakura had gone too far. Despite her beauty, her heart was empty. Momiji stated her job was only to extract Sakura's luck, not to involve herself in her personal life. Sakura grew angrier as she thought about it all day. At the convenience store, she met Tsuwabuki's brother Ryuta, who called her unpleasant because his brother said those who prioritize money have filthy hearts. Before she could react, Ryuta's friend discarded an unwanted card. Ryuta wanted it, but his friend told him to buy his own sometimes. Sakura then schemed to win over Tsuwabuki's siblings, starting by buying Ryuta the card. He initially refused, but Sakura had already opened it, revealing a super rare card. She smugly asked if she was still a bad woman. Ryuta thanked her, saying one should be grateful for help, but it didn't change his view of her as a bad person. Sakura felt that although something was slightly off, it was fine as long as the child thanked her. Ryuta was happy playing with the card his friends gave him and wondered how to explain the card to his brother. Unfortunately, the card accidentally fell into the sewer. It was a special rare card, so Ryuta opened the sewer to retrieve it. However, a passerby at the parking lot thought the sewer was left open and closed it back. Ryuta found the card, but discovered the exit was locked and a car was parked on top. Worse, it started to rain heavily that day. Tsuwabuki came home drenched after a day's work and learned from Rika that Ryuta was missing. He went looking for Ryuta and found out Sakura knew him. He went to Sakura's house. Sakura said she hadn't seen Ryuta since she bought him the card. Tsuwabuki immediately returned the money Sakura used to buy the card and apologized, admitting she was right. He confessed he was indeed short of money and couldn't provide a better life for his siblings. Ryuta wanted to play soccer but couldn't afford shoes or club fees. Rika wanted to study but didn't even have a proper desk. The other two sisters didn't even have new clothes. Tsuwabuki acknowledged that while money isn't everything, being without it is certainly unfortunate. Sakura told Tsuwabuki that he could rely on others sometimes. Tsuwabuki responded that it wasn't possible. As the eldest brother, he needed to set an example and teach his siblings the value of earning their own way. Thus, he would never depend on Sakura. If the genders were reversed, this would be a cliché scenario of a toxic boss and a resilient damsel. Sakura felt conflicted. At that moment, Momiji placed rabbit ears on Sakura that amplified surrounding sounds, allowing her to hear Ryuta's voice. He seemed to have been washed to the riverbank by the sewer water. Momiji pulled out a device that could distribute Sakura's luck and asked if she wanted to use her luck to save someone. Momiji remembered that Sakura only cared about herself. Reflecting on the child's smile when thanking her, Sakura remained silent for a while, still believing her views on money were correct. Momiji didn't argue. Sakura admitted she wanted to shock Tsuwabuki and didn't care about others, but then thought about the poor family potentially losing another member and how it resembled her lonely meals at the dining table. Finally, Sakura took the device to share her luck, but punched Momiji. Momiji sighed, noting humans are complex creatures, sometimes greedy, sometimes willing to share. Meanwhile, Tsuwabuki saw Ryuta struggling at the riverbank. He tried to pull him up, but Ryuta slipped and fell into the river. At that critical moment, Sakura, equipped with the device, jumped into the river and embraced Ryuta. She earnestly prayed for his safety. A large tree branch then broke and fell into the river, safely bringing Sakura and Ryuta to shore. Seeing the brothers embrace, Sakura realized the true meaning of the word human. Tsuwabuki with Ryuta apologized to Sakura and also for speaking ill of her before. Sakura waved it off, saying if she hadn't jumped, Tsuwabuki surely would have, and both brothers might have been lost. Since she was lucky, jumping in was no big deal for her. While pretending to be a butler, Momiji praised Sakura's growth, but aimed to extract Sakura's energy. Sakura, willing to give her luck to others by choice, objected to it being taken by force. She crushed Momiji's syringe again, highlighting the ongoing conflict between the gods of poverty and fortune. At the river, while fishing, Momiji encountered Monk, who complained about delaying his tasks due to helping Sakura. Monk also disrespectfully doubted Momiji's gender, remarking on her flat chest. However, Momiji wasn't really fishing. She used the activity as a cover to summon another ally sent from the divine realm. This partner, named Momu, appeared as Momiji's dog, who enjoys Momiji's scolding. In reality, Momu is a dog deity with a masochistic streak, vigilant against any male getting close to Momiji. Momiji believed Momu's arrival would be greatly helpful, so she used a device to amplify Momu's traits. Monk was shocked to see Momu transforming. As a dog deity, Momu brings happiness to his master and commands respect. On the other hand, any villain attempting to harm his master faces his ruthless vengeance, earning him a fearful reputation as a malevolent deity. In his true form, Momu is a small dog. Momiji's plan was simple: let the dog deity disguise as a small dog to secretly steal Sakura's happiness energy. Momiji's assistant reminded her of her previous claims of having dignity in the second episode, questioning if she had forgotten them. Momiji dismissed the past as irrelevant, now embracing her eccentricity, and promised Momu a hefty reward if he accomplished his mission. Whether the reward would be in the form of S&M or a punishment was unclear, but seeing Momu's pleased expression, Monk decided not to inquire further. Momu disguised himself as a stray dog and appeared outside Sakura's apartment building. He believed no one could resist his innocent big eyes. However, Sakura resisted and even felt the dog was a bit pretentious. Nonetheless, Momu stuck close to Sakura, leading the building manager to assume it was her dog. With no other choice, Sakura took the dog upstairs, planning to find him an adopter the next day at school. Momu thought that once inside Sakura's home, he could seize the chance to steal her luck. He found Sakura's home in disarray since the butler, who previously managed everything, had left, and only cleaners maintained the place, leading to a mess in just 3 days. Momu fitted himself with fake teeth designed to extract luck, ready to ambush Sakura. But her luck was so strong that Momu almost caused his own downfall. He waited for Sakura to fall asleep before sneaking into her room to proceed. Yet Sakura thrashed about in her sleep, inadvertently giving Momu, who enjoyed such treatment, a beating. Meanwhile, Momiji was unaware of the looming crisis, busy drinking and complaining about Sakura with Monk. The next day, school exam results were announced. Sakura always performed well, yet she faced ostracism from female classmates and excessive praise from males. Momu continued to observe her, noting her extraordinary luck, which seemed to prevent any mishaps under such extreme social conditions. He also noticed that Sakura only showed a genuine smile when reading letters from the butler, who, he learned, was practicing Tai Chi and planning a challenge for Sakura's future husband. Momu learned from Momiji that the butler was like a parent to Sakura. He thought that if Sakura could share even a tenth of her affection for the butler, human luck might not be so unbalanced. So, while Sakura slept, Momu pulled out a voodoo doll again. By removing a nail from the doll's chest, it would release a curse. As he approached, Sakura suddenly hugged him, accidentally pulling out the nail. Due to Sakura's strong luck, Momu, while struggling, kicked the doll towards a box holding letters. The mailbox fell to the floor. The next day, Sakura hurried out to class, unaware that the precious mailbox had fallen. After she left, the cleaning crew arrived. They remembered that anything on the floor could be cleaned up, but not to touch items on the desk. Unfortunately, the mailbox was on the floor. When Sakura returned home, she found the box was gone and immediately called the cleaners. They had already sent the trash for collection. Determined, Sakura chased down to the landfill with Momu following, thinking he'd steal her happiness energy once she tired. But after watching her search tirelessly all day and night, Momu felt that Sakura didn't fit the selfish persona Momiji described. Despite her supposed lack of common sense and twisted personality, Sakura wouldn't give up on finding the mailbox. Eventually, unable to bear it, Momu no longer wanted to steal her luck, but didn't want her to lose the important mailbox either. So, Momu jumped into the garbage pile and used his sense of smell to find the mailbox. Sakura burst into tears and hugged Momu gratefully. Momu, curious about Sakura's true nature, was then taken back to her home. He told Momiji that he wasn't trying to curry favor with Sakura. He just felt she might not be as bad as Momiji had said. Then, Sakura took him to the bathroom for a bath. Grateful to Momu, she washed him very thoroughly and accidentally, Momu reverted to his human form. Sakura quickly realized that Momu might be in league with Momiji and was shocked to find herself exposed. She picked up the bathtub and started beating him with it, which oddly enough, Momu enjoyed. Hearing the commotion, Monk and Momiji rushed over and ended up getting beaten by Sakura as well. Momiji had obtained something from the turtle god, but she had made the exchange in the cafeteria, which Sakura saw, suspecting Momiji was up to no good again. Just as she reached her front door, she found that the item meant for Momiji was left at her doorstep. Sakura thought it was another cursed item from the poverty god and decided to destroy it before it could reach Momiji. She quickly unpacked the parcel, only to find it was a trap set by Momiji. The turtle god had an ancient box that would steal the life force of the one who opened it. Momiji planned to strike after Sakura turned into an old woman, but due to a mix-up by the turtle god, Sakura turned into a child instead. Momiji, intending to mock Sakura's reduced bust size, was caught off guard when Sakura retorted that, as a child, her bust was still the same as Momiji's. This broke Momiji's composure. She tied Sakura up, intending to torment her, but Sakura seized the opportunity, escaped through a window, and fled as a spirit guardian. She hid in a park and blended in with children playing hide-and-seek, including Tsuwabuki's sister, Mika. Successfully evading Momiji, Sakura had to return home by evening and ask Mika to take her home. Mika agreed, but halfway there, Sakura encountered Monk and Momo. Deciding to forgo Mika's place, she sought help from Monk and Momo, who didn't believe she had turned into a child until she hit them, their familiar pain confirming her identity. Momo disclosed there was a way to restore Sakura by finding a box that could increase lifespan. Desperate, Sakura said she would give them anything. Thinking of unsavory things, they misunderstood her offer of food and money. They left her with a whistle and charged off. After they departed, Sakura returned to seek Mika's help, unable to go home. Upon reaching Mika's, she encountered another sister, Rika, a boy she had previously rescued, Ryuta, and the youngest brother, Sorat. At that time, Tsuwabuki also returned home. He thought Sakura looked familiar but didn't dwell on it. When he heard Sakura would be staying with them because she was an orphan, Tsuwabuki almost called the police. Sakura quickly corrected herself, claiming her father was abusive and she and her mother had to flee temporarily. Tsuwabuki grabbed a stick and stormed out, determined to confront the abuser. Sakura stopped him, admitting she had her reasons to stay just for a few days. Tsuwabuki then realized that Sakura might be a wealthy heiress. He thought that taking in a distressed heiress could lead to a generous reward, enough to buy new clothes for his siblings. Overwhelmed, he hugged the children and cried. During dinner, Mika felt the situation seemed familiar and recalled a classmate of her brother who had visited before. When the topic came up, Rika angrily snapped her chopsticks, upset at how rude the classmate had been, criticizing their host and acting entitled because of her wealth. The family realized this was a sensitive topic and dropped it. Tsuwabuki mentioned he was going to work and had a day off the next day to take them out. Rika invited Sakura to join them. While folding clothes, Sakura felt uneasy, realizing that despite the family's lack of money, they all loved each other deeply. On the other hand, Momiji called and scolded the turtle god, demanding he quickly prepare another recovery box and an aging box, or else he would turn him into turtle soup next time they met. After hanging up, Momiji realized Sakura could only go to one place and immediately headed to Tsuwabuki's house. At this time, Sakura, having turned into a child, also had diminished control and ended up wetting the bed. Although Rika comforted her, Sakura's anger towards Momiji reached its peak. During the picnic, Sakura joined them. Tsuwabuki increasingly felt she looked familiar, while Momiji sat on the roof of the car, joining them at the picnic site. Sakura felt smaller and weaker, and accidentally rolled down a slope while playing. Tsuwabuki handed her a handkerchief with his family's phone number and address on it, apparently worried about losing it. He patted Sakura on the head, praising her bravery for not crying after the fall, which embarrassed her. Feeling treated like a child, she ran into the forest in a moment of impulsiveness, thinking she was paying too much attention to Tsuwabuki. Momiji caught her soon after entering the forest. By evening, when Tsuwabuki realized Sakura hadn't returned, he asked his siblings to wait at the bus stop while he went into the mountains to look for her. As he considered calling for rescue, he found Sakura's shoes by a cliff and then slipped and fell himself, breaking his leg. Meanwhile, Sakura avoided Momiji and a sudden wild bear, making it to the bus stop at the mountain's base. Rika was relieved to see Sakura return, but noticed her brother was missing. Sakura then learned Tsuwabuki had gone to find her. Rika, as the next eldest sibling, took on the role of calming the younger children. Mika worried that Tsuwabuki might disappear like their parents. This upset Ryuta, and the three children started crying. Rika, still young herself, soon joined in the crying. Sakura felt responsible for all the turmoil. Gritting her teeth, Sakura grabbed a weapon and rushed out, telling Rika and the others to wait at the bus stop. She vowed to bring Tsuwabuki back. Upon reaching the mountain, she immediately used a whistle to summon Momu and handed over Tsuwabuki's handkerchief to him, asking Momu to help find him. Sakura finally understood the reason for her restlessness. She lived in a lavish house with endless money, but longed for the kind of love Tsuwabuki's family had for each other. Following Momu, Sakura found the severely injured Tsuwabuki, barely clinging to life. As she frantically performed CPR on Tsuwabuki, Momiji took the chance to extract some of Sakura's luck. Because Sakura had destroyed many of Momiji's items, the syringe this time was only the size of a can, but it was enough to save Tsuwabuki. Momiji handed the bottle to Sakura, stating she was a god of poverty, not death, and it would be bad if someone died during her tasks. Momiji also mentioned that if Sakura didn't save Tsuwabuki now, she wouldn't be able to harm Sakura anymore. Unexpectedly, Sakura smashed the bottle without listening, to which Momiji slyly commented that Sakura was still insincere. Sakura stubbornly said she just didn't want to owe Tsuwabuki a favor, as she didn't want to end up supporting his siblings. When Tsuwabuki woke up, he found himself uninjured with Sakura lying beside him. He carried Sakura and followed a flower-lined path out. Meanwhile, the turtle god arrived in the human world and was bullied by a group of children. Passing by, Momu and Monk rescued him, but ended up being bigger bullies themselves, stealing the box intended for Momiji from the turtle god. While shopping for groceries with Rika, Sakura received a message from Momu that he had secured the box. Rika and Mika both told Sakura she could stay with them permanently because she really did bring their brother back. So, Sakura stayed another day at the Tsuwabuki home. Late at night, when the younger siblings were asleep, she quietly changed clothes and prepared to leave. However, she encountered Tsuwabuki, who was still awake. Sakura lied, claiming she had a secret crush on Ryuta and was about to go abroad, wanting to make some memories before leaving. Tsuwabuki didn't care about these details or seek any compensation, convinced that Sakura had saved his life that day. He thought everyone had their reasons, so he didn't probe further. He only asked Sakura to bid farewell to his sister, but Sakura said they would see each other again soon. Sakura retrieved the box from Momu and returned to her normal self, but the thought of endless goodbyes brought her to tears. Meanwhile, Momiji was cooking the turtle god and reflecting on how Sakura had yet to realize what she truly wanted, pitying her. Elsewhere, Momiji's boss called to inform her that someone had hurt their little toe on a cabinet because of the luck Sakura had drawn away. At that moment, Momiji was in Sakura's living room with Momu, celebrating with a KTV party, and quickly hung up on her boss. Momu and Momiji noticed Sakura was distraught after returning from Tsuwabuki's house. Even though they considered attacking her while she was vulnerable, they couldn't overcome her stroke of luck. Monk tried to make a move, but was knocked away by Sakura with a hammer. Momu saw this as an opportunity to let Sakura harshly dominate him, but instead, she ended up holding him while sleeping. This behavior was unlike the Sakura he knew. Watching his teammates fall one by one, Momiji decided to step in herself, even asking a friend to act as a decoy, but no one paid any attention to the imposing Momiji. Momiji hid in the shadows, observing Sakura. She noticed that Sakura blushed every time she saw Tsuwabuki, which made Momiji think Sakura had feelings for him. Momiji approached and started teasing Sakura, but Sakura ignored her. A defeated Momiji fled the scene. Then, her boss called again, urging Momiji to complete her mission quickly, or else he would send another god of poverty. Momiji felt it might be for the best, admitting she was unexpectedly worried about Sakura, whom she thought was hopeless. Sakura was actually troubled because she wanted to return Tsuwabuki's handkerchief but couldn't muster the courage to face him. As she planned to leave the handkerchief at his door and leave, Tsuwabuki suddenly appeared behind her. He found out Sakura had once again returned something on his behalf and thanked her. Satisfied, Sakura left, feeling as cool as a main character from JoJo. When she got home, she found her house turned into a dump and lashed out at Momiji and her group, who were sleeping in the mess. Momiji was secretly pleased, thinking, "Great, Sakura is back to normal." When her boss suggested replacing her, Momiji objected, insisting that Sakura was hers to defeat alone. She vowed to take down Sakura herself. Today, Sakura was tasting a limited edition crepe on the street when two sneaky high school girls bumped into her. Luckily, Sakura caught her crepe, but the girls dropped their items, revealing stolen cosmetics from a store. This led to Sakura being mistaken for a thief. As Sakura frantically tried to explain, a tough-looking girl with pink hair appeared, and the police thought she was Sakura's accomplice. Seeing the misunderstanding deepen, Sakura blamed the pink-haired girl and fled amidst the chaos, thinking they would never meet again. Unexpectedly, the next day, a new student arrived in class. It was the pink-haired girl from yesterday, named Ranmaru, whose family owned a karate dojo and raised her like a boy. Worried about being recognized, Sakura adopted a martial arts pose, making Momiji and Tsuwabuki think it was a popular new trend, prompting others to imitate it. Ranmaru immediately recognized Sakura, who then pretended to be hurt by Ranmaru, gaining sympathy and protection from the boys. An enraged Ranmaru punched a wall. Later, Momiji gave Ranmaru Sakura's address. Ranmaru expressed her disdain for people who shift blame and avoid responsibility. Sakura was unfazed by her criticism. When Ranmaru tried to confront her, Sakura's button popped off, and she dodged Ranmaru's attack by bending down. Despite falling from the 13th floor without injury, Ranmaru challenged Sakura to a duel at school, where spectators began selling snacks. Ranmaru vowed to fix Sakura's bad behavior. She leaped into action but was blinded by a mirror a girl opened nearby and got her foot stuck in the floor, leading to her quick defeat by Sakura. Tsuwabuki and Momiji made a fortune betting and selling drinks during the duel. Moved by the event, Tsuwabuki extended a hand to the defeated Ranmaru, asking her to include him in future matches. Struck by his gesture, Ranmaru felt a flutter of attraction. At that moment, Sakura quietly peered out and asked Ranmaru if she remembered their agreement from the duel. Ranmaru promised to drop out immediately, but then re-enrolled on the third day. Sakura had only said to drop out, not that she couldn't re-enroll. Ranmaru, a girl with a strong sense of justice, vowed to clean up the local troublemakers, yet she couldn't defeat Sakura. Thus, she challenged Sakura again in class. Momiji declared it the start of a second major battle. Sakura disagreed, and the boys in the class spoke up for her, but the girls stood behind Ranmaru. The teacher tried to intervene, but was ignored due to the noise. Tsuwabuki, annoyed by the disturbance, declared he wanted to sleep, causing Ranmaru to blush and sit down. Then, Sakura and Momiji, grinning mischievously, stood up. While Ranmaru was shyly watching a couple, Sakura and Momiji offered to give her a makeover, claiming that a friendship had formed during their battle. Sakura's plan was to manipulate Ranmaru to stop her from causing trouble, while Momiji saw an opportunity to win Ranmaru over to team up against Sakura. They took Ranmaru shopping for shoes and clothes and taught her how to apply makeup. Although Ranmaru felt uncomfortable with her new look, she appreciated being called cute for the first time in her life, deciding that having a boyfriend could wait as this was good enough. Ranmaru thanked Sakura and Momiji, who felt unusually embarrassed. Later, Ranmaru said she needed to change back into her old clothes to avoid a lecture from her strict father, who was training her to be the heir to his karate dojo and had raised her as a boy. Despite his strictness, Ranmaru respected him. However, Sakura was unhappy, feeling that no parent deserved respect. Although Ranmaru didn't understand what was happening with Sakura, she hesitated to change her clothes on the way home, wanting to wear them a little longer. However, she encountered her father. The next day, Ranmaru arrived at school back in her usual attire, but still had bruises on her face, which worried Sakura. She immediately asked for Ranmaru's home address to check on her situation. Upon arriving, Sakura saw Ranmaru's father beating her, criticizing her for becoming weak and even tearing up the dress Sakura had chosen for Ranmaru. At that moment, Sakura clenched her fists and charged in. She declared her hatred for two things in the world: poverty and parents who impose their dreams on their children against their will. Thus, Sakura challenged Ranmaru's father, who decided to correct this impolite girl. Like his daughter, he too stepped into a hole in the ground and was caught in a chokehold by Sakura. Although he was stronger, he didn't harm Sakura. Sakura told him that Ranmaru had smiled for the first time after dressing up and wearing makeup, something her father was unaware of as he scolded his daughter, saying such a person didn't deserve to be a parent. However, Ranmaru blocked Sakura's attack for her father, thanking Sakura and stating her father was her only parent. Neither side truly understood each other, but Ranmaru felt that what Sakura did was enough. After returning home, Sakura was upset. Momiji sighed, saying she had told Sakura not to meddle in other people's family matters, which made Sakura even more sullen. The next day, as Ranmaru was leaving the house, her father told her that not many people would sacrifice everything for others these days, and mentioned that Ranmaru had made a good friend. Ranmaru happily went to school and shared this with Sakura, adding that her father had agreed to let her dress as she pleased from now on. She felt secure in her current outfit, so she didn't change it. Sakura immediately felt proud, convinced she had done the right thing. Momiji sighed, commenting on Sakura's difficult personality. The school's old building was about to be demolished, and teachers warned everyone to stay away. After school, some girls invited Ranmaru to go singing. Ranmaru decided to bring along Sakura and Momiji. The other girls hesitated. They were okay with Momiji, but not keen on Sakura joining. Sakura flicked her hair, saying she had other plans, and wished Ranmaru fun with the group. However, Ranmaru noticed Sakura's disappointment. At the KTV, Ranmaru felt Sakura would have liked to join everyone. Seeing Ranmaru's concern, Momiji decided to take her to find Sakura. Ranmaru was worried Sakura might actually be busy, but Momiji guessed Sakura was probably counting cracks at home. Arriving at the scene, they found Sakura indeed counting floor cracks. Ranmaru felt sorry for her and suggested they watch a movie or talk about love. Hearing Ranmaru call herself a friend, Sakura was secretly pleased but maintained her sharp-tongued facade, claiming she only disliked Ranmaru's father. Ranmaru admitted she owed Sakura a favor. Sakura put on a mask again, asserting she didn't care about such things, and that Ranmaru calling her a friend lowered her own standards. Ranmaru pinched Sakura's cheek, accusing her of always pretending. An irate Sakura, feeling exposed, chased them both out of the house. Unable to stop worrying about Sakura, Ranmaru received a soul stethoscope from Momiji, who revealed her identity as the goddess of poverty. Ranmaru decided to use it to listen to Sakura's inner thoughts. Meanwhile, 3 girls from class who had always disliked Sakura planned to confront her. The next day, Sakura found Ranmaru waiting at the school gate, annoying her with her persistent presence. At that moment, one of the girls approached and offered to help Sakura avoid Ranmaru. As Momiji sighed from above, noting Sakura's tsundere attitude, she watched Sakura being tricked to the back door, then choked and taken away in a car. Momiji quickly alerted Ranmaru. The girl, lacking in morals, intended to have men humiliate Sakura. Fortunately, Ranmaru arrived just in time, fiercely beating the culprits and driving them away. Turning around, Ranmaru realized Sakura had also disappeared, guessing she had woken up and escaped midway. Still, Ranmaru scolded the 3 girls, reminding them that despite being classmates and disliking each other, such methods of humiliation were unacceptable. Sakura felt that Ranmaru had helped her, balancing the favor she owed for helping Ranmaru previously. She hoped this meant Ranmaru would stop bothering her. Just as Sakura was leaving the building, it collapsed. This was the dangerous old school building slated for demolition. Ranmaru held up the rubble, giving the 3 girls a chance to escape. After they got out, Sakura asked them where Ranmaru was, but they claimed ignorance. Guessing Ranmaru was still inside, Sakura, unable to swallow her pride to save her, instead shouted outside for Ranmaru to come out. Momiji criticized Sakura, urging her to rescue Ranmaru herself if she was truly worried, as continuing like this would surely lead to trouble. Sakura expressed concern that if she went in, Ranmaru would feel indebted again. Momiji pointed out that Sakura was afraid of getting close to others. Sakura shook her head, not wanting to relive those memories. She had friends as a child and a crush on a boy at school. Her friend Kurumi also liked the boy and suggested they give him chocolates together on Valentine's Day, insisting that good friends should not act secretly. However, the boy liked Sakura and later gave her a hair accessory as a thank you. Kurumi saw this and, pretending to be unaware, demanded the accessory from Sakura, using their friendship as leverage and threatening to never speak to Sakura again. To salvage the friendship, Sakura reluctantly gave the accessory to Kurumi. Kurumi then planned to confess her feelings to the boy and demanded Sakura's blessing. Worried about losing a friend, Sakura wished that Kurumi would end up with the boy she liked. When Kurumi confessed, the boy admitted he liked Sakura instead. Upset, Kurumi lied that Sakura disdained the hair accessory he gave, claiming she had casually passed it on to her. The boy was heartbroken and became cold towards Kurumi. Thus, Sakura did not want to go through such an experience again. Momiji confessed she was unaware of Sakura's past, but noticed that her mood was affected whenever Sakura was upset. She did not want to see Sakura defeated and encouraged her to act as she wished. Sakura got up, and Momiji, seizing the moment, drew a bit of luck from her and tossed her a bottle. Sakura, with the bottle, rushed into the ruins. Ranmaru, surprised to see the mythical creature emerge, was baffled. Sakura then poured the bottle of happiness energy on him, healing his injuries instantly. Together they blew the roof off the old school building. Ranmaru said he owed Sakura a favor again. Sakura asked Ranmaru why he wouldn't keep his distance. Ranmaru sighed, saying if Sakura wanted that, she could have it, but he was also curious why she didn't want to socialize. Was it due to some bad past experiences? Ranmaru mentioned that this was Momiji's suspicion. He then gave Sakura a pair of eavesdropped headphones, stating that if Sakura didn't want to talk about the past, he wouldn't listen in. Unexpectedly, Sakura put the headphones on Ranmaru, letting him hear about her past. After Kurumi betrayed Sakura, she spread rumors that flattering Sakura could bring benefits. Sakura heard this before she left. Kurumi later returned the jewelry to Sakura, claiming the boy would buy her something better. Sakura became indifferent, dismissing the cheap gift. She noted that her luck often caused jealousy among others, so she had to disguise herself to protect against it. Ranmaru sighed, understanding why Sakura didn't want friends. However, since Sakura shared her past with him, he believed she just didn't want to become someone like Kurumi. Ranmaru promised never to betray Sakura. Sakura was skeptical. But after Ranmaru's repeated assurances, she tearfully asked if it was true. Ranmaru nodded sincerely. The situation almost overwhelmed Tsuwabuki's steadfast persona, barely containing his bursting enthusiasm. Later, Ranmaru invited Sakura out again. She was shy, but agreed. Due to the female PE teacher taking leave, today's class featured mixed-gender tennis. Ranmaru wanted to invite Tsuwabuki, but was too shy to speak up. Before Sakura could find a partner, she was surrounded by other boys. At that moment, the tennis club's prince made a grand entrance and invited Sakura to play tennis with him. Sakura quietly wiped her hands before agreeing to team up. Then, Momiji appeared with Prince's rival, Gorira, challenging Sakura to a match. Ranmaru cheered them on from the sidelines. Momiji suggested making it interesting with a bet, setting up stakes for Prince and Gorira that would have severe consequences if they lost. Therefore, at the start of the match, Gorira aggressively targeted Sakura. A tennis ball hit her, sending her flying. Prince told Sakura that tennis is not about fighting, but about responding on the court. Sakura agreed and nearly knocked Gorira out with a powerful return, warning him against attacking her again, or he would really be sent flying. Prince then hinted to himself and played a tricky curveball, telling everyone to stop making sweet tennis jokes. However, Momiji retaliated with a rubber counter from One Piece, unable to escape the puns. Due to the strength of Sakura and Momiji, the two tennis club aces struggled and the game went to a decisive set. Momiji played several puns, using clones to hit 4 balls simultaneously. Prince tried to identify the real ball, but realized all 4 were genuine. As an ace of the tennis club, Prince was devastated, collapsing and dying from a broken spirit. Sakura screamed, calling for a special tennis racket, which was essentially a racket with exorcism tools tied to it. Meanwhile, a tornado blocked their match from view. The teacher initially wanted to evacuate the students, but noticed something strange in the tornado. Inside, Sakura and Momiji were having a fierce battle reminiscent of Baki the Grappler. Prince, dramatically recovering, sat up and exclaimed, "You call this playing tennis?" Tsuwabuki slept through class and woke up to find the sports field torn apart, thinking he had entered the set of The Drifting Classroom. Eventually, the PE teacher declared the match a draw due to the damage to the field, and sports classes were temporarily suspended. Both Prince and Gorira developed a phobia of women. Meanwhile, the God of Poverty's boss introduced a new character. Sakura received a letter from her butler advising her to cut down on takeout and try cooking herself. So, Sakura bought a lot of ingredients to cook for Ranmaru and Tsuwabuki, but she injured her hand within 2 minutes and ruined most of the ingredients. She then gave up on cooking, deciding that takeout was tastier and more convenient. However, Momiji ate the takeout. Sakura ended up eating instant noodles. Momiji was kicked out of the house, and an assistant helped him up. When Momiji looked up, he saw another god of poverty, Yuri. Yuri claimed to be helping Momiji, but her real intent was to steal Sakura's happiness energy to impress their boss and possibly get closer to her. Yuri was envious of Momiji, who was favored by their boss, and tried every way to bring him down. However, Momiji tentatively accepted an alliance with Yuri. The two went to trouble Sakura, but her luck was too strong for Yuri's attacks to work, resulting in her being exploded twice. Momiji criticized Sakura's terrible cooking skills, to which Sakura retorted that Momiji also couldn't cook. So Momiji challenged Sakura to a cooking contest, where the loser would surrender their happiness energy. Sakura, teased about her cooking, broke down and dragged Yuri in as the judge to taste their dishes, a sure path to disaster. Yet Yuri, unaware of the severity of the situation, agreed. The contest was to cook meat stew with potatoes, but Momiji completely botched his dish, while Sakura's resembled a grudge from hell. Yuri casually tasted Sakura's dish, and the awful taste was so overwhelming that she sought her boss that very night, admitting defeat against Sakura, suggesting Momiji should confront her instead, as the taste left a psychological scar. That day, Ranmaru suggested they eat ramen when heading home, but Sakura mentioned she had to return home early for a family matter, and invited Ranmaru to come along. Curious, he followed, and discovered that Sakura had adopted a cute kitten she found under her building a week prior during a heavy rainstorm. Recently, the kitten had just begun to perk up. Ranmaru also took a liking to the cat, praising Sakura's kindness towards animals, even though she had both a cat and a dog. Momu, the dog, was displeased with the new addition, feeling his mascot status was threatened, creating chaos at the scene. Monk also appeared briefly, but was quickly beaten up by Ranmaru for his attitude. Sakura noticed that Momiji had been absent recently, and remembered him mentioning that he unintentionally absorbs luck from those around him. She considered confessing the truth to Ranmaru, but hesitated, and eventually stayed silent. After seeing Ranmaru off, Sakura went to the bathroom and was shocked to see a piece of poop stand up, sporting a handsome face and claiming to be the god of the toilet. She suspected he was similar to Momiji, but the poop god denied knowing any god of poverty, simply warning her that her luck was off. Sakura silently flushed the toilet, deciding her household already had enough oddities without adding a poop god. Lying in bed with her cat, Sakura reflected on her life, which had been quite pleasant and included making new friends. However, Momiji's words about her unconsciously absorbing others' happiness energy haunted her. She feared problems might arise with Momiji gone, as he used to suppress this issue. Returning home, Sakura found a letter indicating Momiji had kidnapped her cat. Armed, she rushed to the stadium, unaware that inside, a trio of trendy girls were cooking ramen. Startled by her intrusion, they panicked and fled, accidentally knocking over their alcohol lamp onto a nearby bag. Meanwhile, Momiji revealed that he had placed the kitten at Sakura's door, letting her grow attached over a week to lure her to the stadium. Had the cat not worked, his plan was to kidnap Ranmaru instead. Sakura summoned a good luck charm and attacked Momiji, attempting to rescue her cat. However, Momiji absorbed the charm and flung Sakura away, declaring his mission accomplished and promising to return to disable Sakura's ability to absorb happiness energy. Momiji ran off with the happiness energy. Sakura, nursing her injured hand, went upstairs to rescue her cat, but found the stadium suddenly ablaze. Just as she found the cat, a burnt net fell on her. Momiji, carrying the happiness energy, looked back to see the stadium on fire. His smile faded immediately. Realizing he had gone too far, he worried about potential casualties and rushed back to the stadium. Meanwhile, Sakura found all escape routes blocked. Previously, she had managed to save the butler and Ranmaru, but didn't have any luck-sharing items to save the cat. At that moment, the poop god appeared, stating he wasn't there to help Sakura, but to rescue the kitten. It turned out the poop god was a guardian of childbirth and nurturing, responsible for ensuring the robust growth of newborns. He appeared to rescue the cat from Sakura, as the kitten, being newly born, had very weak energy and would lose it if it stayed near her. Sakura had likely noticed that everyone close to her ended up unlucky. Even though she had saved others, the initial misfortune was caused by her. The poop god intended to revive the kitten with a breath of magic, but got flustered when Sakura teased him about not knowing the poverty god, accidentally giving too much power and turning the kitten into a weak deity. The revived kitten gestured to Sakura to leave the fire. Unable to stop them, the poop god watched as the kitten led Sakura to a window. Without hesitation, Sakura jumped out, landing on Momiji, who was climbing outside. The container holding the happiness energy cracked open. Immediately, Sakura summoned an exorcism tool, inadvertently breaking through to an underground water source, extinguishing the fire in the school and accidentally creating a hot spring. Before leaving, the poop god gave Sakura an item and then went to see Momiji. It turned out that everything was a play directed by Momiji to make Sakura value the people around her. The item given to Sakura could suppress her ability to absorb others' luck. The poop god felt Momiji's actions were unnecessary. Even without his help, Sakura would have followed Momiji's advice. But Momiji was just afraid of rejection. Momiji had been slacking off at work, and her boss, finally losing patience, called to demand she take her duties seriously. Discovering Momiji still gaming, her boss nearly lost it and warned that if Momiji didn't improve, she would be deemed incompetent and taken back for punishment. Seeing her boss so serious, Momiji straightened up her act. To earn money for the item, Momiji turned Sakura's bathroom into a public bathhouse, offering backscrubbing services. When Sakura returned home, she found the bathroom filled with trash and learned Momiji hadn't bathed in years. Sakura's obsession with cleanliness exploded, so she went to use Ranmaru's bathroom, only to find it was outdoors. Unable to bear it, she decided to go to a bathhouse instead. Just as she reached the bathhouse, she saw the Tsuwabuki family. Ranmaru felt embarrassed seeing Tsuwabuki, but Sakura had a bad feeling. Sure enough, she turned to see Monk and Momu. When Sakura entered the bathroom, she saw Momu trying to sneak in disguised as a dog. She blocked the door with her foot. Rika, concerned Sakura might mistreat the dog, was surprised to see Momu turn back into a human. Tsuwabuki was amazed, wondering how much money a shape-shifting dog could fetch at an exhibition. There was even a cat nearby that could turn into a human. Tsuwabuki's eyes lit up again and again. Ranmaru had already entered the bathroom, and the thought of Tsuwabuki being next door made her nose bleed. Sakura criticized Ranmaru for being weak. Turning around, she noticed Mika staring at her chest, probably shocked by her bust size. Sakura teased Mika, offering to let her touch for 5,000, saying her brother would work himself to death. Imagining this, Mika burst into tears on the spot. Rika quickly came to comfort her sister, but Sakura hurriedly reassured Mika that she was just joking, and that Mika would grow up to be like her soon. Mika responded that her sister Rika was broke, and she saw no bright future for herself. Next door, Tsuwabuki stopped Monk from trying to climb the wall, but slipped into the bath due to tiredness. Sakura ignored the noise next door and didn't notice that while she was washing her hair and couldn't see, Momiji, disguised as Ranmaru, was about to scrub her back using a luck-draining item. Ranmaru quickly warned Sakura. At that moment, Momu climbed over the wall to block the attack, but was kicked towards the wall by Sakura and Momiji. Momu got his head stuck in the wall. Seeing this, Tsuwabuki, realizing Momu was trying to peep at his sister, beat him up on the spot. Meanwhile, Sakura chased Momiji and beat her up too. Momiji, seeing the situation was bad, tried to escape, but was caught by the small cat biting her skirt. Seeing Momiji's fear of baths, Sakura and Ranmaru forced her into the bath, which caused her to shrink. Thinking to soak Momiji in the pool, they found her unusually quiet after the bath. On the other side, Monk performed a ritual for Momu and planned to continue climbing walls in his stead, but Tsuwabuki beat him up. Monk accused Tsuwabuki of being hypocritical, questioning how a healthy man could not be interested in women. Ranmaru and Sakura perked up their ears next door. Tsuwabuki admitted he was interested, but, with his younger brother nearby and as a role model, he couldn't lead by sneaking peeks. Yet, both younger brothers then said they were going out. Monk once again urged Tsuwabuki to climb the wall. Tsuwabuki explained that his classmates, including Sakura who saved his brother's life, were next door. Despite Ranmaru's boyish appearance, she was a girl and wouldn't appreciate being spied on. Sakura and Ranmaru overheard everything. Monk then insulted Ranmaru's figure and boyish charm, angering her. She kicked through the wall, hitting Monk's plan directly. Tsuwabuki was shocked, and Ranmaru fainted at the sight of Tsuwabuki's abs. Tsuwabuki quickly wrapped a towel around himself, turned to the wall to avoid looking, but as he touched the wall, it cracked. He faced Sakura, who was too confused to react, and pushed her into the pool. He apologized, claiming he saw nothing. Sakura knew he was lying but couldn't speak. Ryuta saw his brother sneak out, bending over. Rika was about to comment on her difficulty getting along with Sakura in the bathroom, when her brother reacted like a startled cat, unable to hear Sakura's name. Ryuta realized his brother was truly a man. Meanwhile, Momiji had left wearing Sakura's clothes. Sakura sighed in the girls' changing room, unsure about going to school the next day. Tsuwabuki decided to stop going to the bathhouse and began digging a hole. Elsewhere, Momiji devised a new strategy. The next morning, Sakura and Ranmaru entered the classroom like thieves. Not just them, Tsuwabuki also wore a hood. Sakura felt silly when a beautiful girl greeted her. Confused about who she was, the girl revealed herself as Momiji. After a bath, Momiji transformed into a pure and innocent girl, even turning her accessories into charming items and behaving cutely everywhere. This change sparked discussions among everyone, as she seemed to become an elegant goddess excelling in academics, music, and crafts, and was always ready to help others. She spoke gently and often helped teachers during classes. Both boys and girls welcomed her. Moreover, Momiji promoted fairness, teaching the boys about universal love, and advising the girls not to treat Ranmaru as a boy. She gave Ranmaru a makeover to showcase her feminine side, and asked Tsuwabuki if the outfit looked good. Tsuwabuki found Ranmaru quite cute in it, causing her to shyly rush out of the classroom. Sakura suspected Momiji had ulterior motives. When Momiji came back with vegetables, Sakura told her to stop pretending, but Momiji claimed it was her true nature. She explained that as a poverty god, her power was linked to her dirtiness, and bathing changed her appearance. Sakura doubted this, thinking Momiji wanted her to lower her guard and steal her happiness energy. They even role-played characters from Death Note, with Sakura feeling like she was L, vulnerable to being killed by Momiji, posing as Light Yagami. Therefore, Sakura decided to bring Monk and Momu into the situation. Momu, seeing this gentle Momiji, felt she was not the teasing sister he remembered. Monk, however, found this version of Momiji quite adorable. Sakura informed them that Momiji claimed to lose her poverty god powers after bathing but suspected it was an act. She asked them to expose Momiji's facade, but Monk and Momu proved no match for her. Monk was hesitant to act against Momiji's gentle demeanor, and Momu's attempt to trigger her sadistic side through his masochistic tactics backfired, leaving him scared by her gentle care. Meanwhile, Momiji prepared some food. Momiji specifically brought the food to Sakura for her to taste. Sakura doubted Momiji's intentions, and mentioned that since Momiji had lost her powers as a poverty god, she had no reason to bother her anymore. Momiji responded that although her powers were gone, her mission continued. She needed to transform Sakura into a girl willing to spread kindness actively. She proposed a temporary truce, which Sakura found untrustworthy. Accidentally, Sakura knocked over the food Momiji made, which deeply upset Momiji, causing her to run away crying. Ranmaru urged Sakura to go after her. Following the typical TV drama rule, it started raining. Sakura, drenched, found Momiji by the roadside. She stubbornly claimed she wasn't concerned about Momiji, but insisted that one shouldn't wander in the rain, planning to take Momiji back with her. Momiji, aware of Sakura's tsundere nature, confessed that she genuinely wished for Sakura's happiness. Besides extracting Sakura's luck, another method could balance luck, if Sakura chose to share her fortune willingly. However, Sakura thought she only cared about her butler and her friend Ranmaru. Momiji pointed out that Sakura had more friends than just the butler now, and sharing luck didn't mean sharing it with everyone, but hoped that Sakura could make more friends. Luck would come in different forms, and eventually, Sakura would achieve the happiness she desired. Seeing Momiji's sincerity, Sakura shyly turned away, then took Momiji back home. Ranmaru pushed both of them into the bathroom. During the bath, Momiji expressed her wish to see Sakura happy and hoped that one day Sakura would call her by name. Afterward, Momiji never ambushed Sakura again. Although Sakura felt relieved, she also felt something was missing. Momu was distraught, fearing Momiji would not stay that way forever. While wandering sadly in the park, he saw an assistant playing with a kitten fall into a garbage truck. Getting dirty, the assistant returned to his original state and immediately told Momu that dirtying Momiji would restore her to her poverty god form. After school, Momiji and Ranmaru invited Sakura to walk home together. Sakura gave Momiji a complex look. The boys in class commented on their close relationship, but Tsuwabuki, who had just woken up, noticed Sakura was not really happy. At home, Sakura stared blankly at Momiji. The kitten came home crying, followed by Momu and the assistant bursting in. They grabbed Momiji, ready to turn her back into her poverty god state. The gentle version of Momiji said she would not resist and just wanted to properly say goodbye to Sakura. Momiji told Sakura that the poverty god personality did not really like her character, so they might never meet again. However, what she told Sakura was not a lie. It reflected the true feelings of the poverty god. Sakura saw the gentle Momiji crying and immediately broke free, stubbornly saying she wasn't trying to save Momiji, but felt that the gentle version was more beneficial to her. She also said no one would be friends with a poverty god, but she would never let the gentle Momiji revert back. So, Sakura ran away with Momiji. However, because their divine tool was sealed, they were likely to die if they jumped off a building. Fortunately, Ranmaru arrived just in time to catch them both, but Momu and the assistant also chased after them. The assistant urged Momu to hurry up, saying they didn't have much time left. At that moment, Ranmaru fled with the two. Momiji said that if the assistant and Momu couldn't catch them before sunset today, they likely wouldn't be able to in the future. Just then, Monk drove by, and Sakura saw it as a good opportunity. Although she didn't know why they stopped chasing, they could escape to the next town and wait for sunset. Monk said he had to work and didn't have time to play. Sakura even suggested that if Monk just drove them, she would let him succeed. Momiji felt Sakura was sacrificing too much, but Sakura had no intention of letting Monk take advantage. Sakura also mentioned that keeping the gentle Momiji was merely for her own benefit. Momiji told Sakura that although she often wanted Sakura to use her envelope energy for others, people who only consider others' happiness can become unhappy themselves. She cited the example of Kurumi, a friend who betrayed Sakura. Momiji held Sakura's hand, saying if Sakura truly needed her, she would always be there. Sakura blushed, and Ranmaru was deeply moved by their friendship. However, Momu and the assistant caught up to them, and a trash fight ensued. Sakura punched Momu, sending him flying. Ranmaru realized the only one needing to escape was Momiji, so he decided to stay and fight Momu. The battle went back and forth on the vehicles until Ranmaru, being too strong, thoroughly defeated Momu, who then clung to Ranmaru. On the other side, Monk lent Sakura 2 bracelets, claiming they could enhance the power of her punches. A cat also climbed onto Sakura's shoulder, ready to help her fight the assistant. Sakura expressed her determination to save Momiji, but the assistant retorted that Sakura knew nothing. He revealed that Momiji hadn't told her the truth. Once a poverty god bathes in the human world, if they cannot restore their divine power within 7 days and nights, they will be permanently trapped as a human doll, effectively meaning death for Momiji as a poverty god. Sakura was stunned. At this point, the assistant caught up. Sakura couldn't understand why Momiji hadn't told her the truth. Suddenly, Tsuwabuki appeared, and Sakura learned that Monk's truck job was recommended by Tsuwabuki. Uncertain whether to follow, she asked Tsuwabuki, "If you really disliked someone who suddenly decided to leave, and you might never see them again, would you try to keep them?" Tsuwabuki replied that by asking this question, Sakura had already revealed her answer. If she truly disliked them or wished them gone, she wouldn't have asked. Realizing he was right, Sakura openly broke down and harshly scolded Momiji. Tsuwabuki noted that Sakura seemed much better than before when she had been quite down. Sakura then realized that Tsuwabuki had accidentally seen her naked before. An aunt nearby remarked on the shamelessness of the young couple, wondering how they could speak such words openly during the day. Feeling that Tsuwabuki had answered her question and resolved previous issues, Sakura put on the bracelets and ran off. Meanwhile, the assistant found Momiji trapped on a bridge and questioned her reasons for not telling Sakura the truth. Momiji explained that since she came into Sakura's life, she had seen many changes in her. She hoped Sakura could be happy. Forcibly extracting lucky energy would only make Sakura unhappy. It was better to let Sakura spread kindness outward of her own volition, while Momiji stayed by her side to guide her, as there were many others who could replace her as the poverty god. The assistant couldn't accept that Momiji could no longer become a poverty god. At that moment, Momiji lost her balance and fell. Luckily, Sakura caught Momiji in time. She commented that Momiji was the type who always cared about others' happiness, but forgot about her own. Momiji felt that this was the best outcome, but Sakura retorted that whether it was the best outcome should be for her to decide, not Momiji. Sakura added that when Momiji was unwell, it also affected her mood. After saying goodbye to Momiji, Sakura let go of her hand, and Momiji fell into a garbage boat below. Sakura declared that their duel wasn't over yet, arguing that if the poverty god Momiji disappeared, her victory would be hollow. After falling into the garbage, Momiji regained her usual carefree demeanor, but briefly showed the gentle Momiji's smile, which soon disappeared, and she began teasing Sakura again. Although they were still arguing, Ranmaru could tell they were both happy. As long as both were satisfied, that was enough.